What's up, everybody? I'm Nathan Green. Welcome back. Now, concluding our series of how to play Magic the Gathering. Last time we talked about the other types of cards. Now, today we're going to be talking about a little something different. It's abilities. Now, abilities, there are 4 types. There are spell, static, triggered, and activated. Now, I'm going to talk about each one individually and give examples of them. Now, the first thing we have is spell abilities. Now, spell abilities are most commonly on instances and sorcery and enchantments. Now, anyways, what spell abilities can do, it can give your creatures a power and toughness buff and can screw over your opponents. Now, a card that I'm gonna give an example of is called Corpse Churn. Now, it's an instant that states put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So basically, you meal the top 3, then you can search your graveyard for a creature card that you want back in your hand, which is pretty helpful. Another example of spell abilities is also known as an area of effect, or AoE. Now, an AoE spell can do numerous things. For example, affects everybody, the whole battlefield. Now, what destroys all lands? It is called Planar Cleansing. Now, this card, it clears all mana or lands. Now that we covered the spell abilities, time to move on to static. Now, there are tons of static abilities as well. The 3 examples I'm gonna give is those known as Flying, Vigilance, and Trample. First one is Flying. Now, Flying states that this creature cannot be blocked except for other creatures with flying or creatures with an ability called Reach. Now that we've covered flying, time to move on to Vigilance. Now, Vigilance is an ability that states that whenever you don't have to tap it to attack with it. Static ability is called Trample. The best description I can give for Trample is that if a 6/6 has Trample versus a 2/2, the 2/2 will be killed while the 4 damage from the 6/6 still goes through. Now that we covered static, time to move on to triggered. Now, I don't know why, personally, but for some people, this type of ability gets people triggered. Now, what triggered does is there has to be a certain thing to happen for it to kick. For the example I'm giving it a card called Scion Summoner. Now, what its triggered ability is whenever it enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi Scion creature token onto the battlefield. It has sacrificed this creature to add 1 colorless to your mana pool. Its stating is that whenever it enters the battlefield, the ability kicks. Another example of it is Plarica Worm. Now, it has 2 triggered abilities. The first one states that whenever it enters the battlefield, you gain 7 life. And the second one is whenever it dies, you draw a card. Pretty easy to keep track of, right? Now, last ability is called an activated ability. Now, activated abilities have a mana cost to them for them to kick. There are numerous abilities with mana cost. There are artifact equipments, which I stated in the last video what they are. What they do is you pay a certain mana cost to equip it to a certain creature. Now there are, along with other abilities, a surge cost, flashback, buyback. There are numerous abilities of these 4, and trust me, it is a lot. And some cards actually have a reminder text for a reminder of what the ability does, which is very helpful if you're new to Magic, or like just starting out. But if you're like my friend John, and don't read your cards, then you're pretty much screwed. Anyway, now that we talked about abilities, the next topic will be used in the next video. So that way I can give y'all like a cliffhanger. So that's all for this video. I'm Nathan Green, saying goodbye. See you next time.